W5.
One thing my dad never did was prepare her to be on her own.
A lonely widow looking for new love.
She was just really loving the attention and the affection that she was getting from these guys.
I told her they were all scammers.
But her search for romance becomes a fight for freedom.
We've seen too many victims.
She's looking at serious jail time.
This is just a really, really bad dream. I'm never gonna see my mom again.
Here is Avery Haines.
Welcome to a special edition of W5 from Hong Kong. This vibrant city is a beacon for travelers. They come here for the lively outdoor markets, the breathtaking views from the harbor, as well as the high-end shopping. But this is the story of a Canadian tourist who didn't see any of this. She's a grandmother from a small city in Ontario whose desperate search for love and adventure has ended in a Hong Kong jail where she's facing more than 2 decades behind bars. Angela Thayer hates to fly. Yet here she is, 10,000 meters above the Pacific Ocean, traveling halfway around the world to Hong Kong. It's a trip she never imagined having to make.
I have never traveled outside of North America, and I've never been to Asia before.
That one back there?
Yes.
40?
It's just an amazing culture, and
Thank you.
the people are so friendly. Being able to experience something that I never thought I would experience. I wish my mom was walking this with me.
Angela is a reluctant tourist. She's 12,000 kilometers from her home in Barrie, Ontario. She's here because her mother, Susanna, is living here, against her will.
I don't know when the next time I will actually be able to see her again, because she's in prison for smuggling drugs into Hong Kong.
Angela's mother is 64-year-old Susanna Thayer, a mother of 3, grandmother of 6.
She's never had a speeding ticket. She lived a sheltered, safe life and never gotten into anything that's illegal.
A sheltered, safe life, one that was totally dependent on her husband, whom she met when she was just 13 and married 5 years later. Your mom never had another boyfriend other than your dad?
No, that was the only man my mom's ever been with. He really shielded her from the world, not in a bad way, but it's just, you know, he was a police officer, so he really seen all the stuff.
Their marriage lasted a lifetime, at least for Jim. When he died in 2016, Susanna lost her provider, her protector.
One thing my dad never did was prepare her to be on her own and how to look after and protect herself.
Okay, and this one?
5 years passed and the grief faded. Susanna was ready to find love again, and so she went online. And initially, were you thinking, this is great, my mom's gonna have a second chance at love?
And that's what I was thinking, because I know there's some guys you can find online that are gonna be decent. She would kind of get like that, just all like giddy and schoolgirl, and she was just really loving the attention and the affection that she was getting, you know, from these guys.
Susanna's family gave us permission to look through her emails and texts.
Hey babe, hope everything is well with you.
Hello, Susie. How you doing?
Sweetheart, why the silence?
We need to be together.
One man stood out. He called himself Walter Williams, said he was a military doctor, in fact, a neurosurgeon. He worked for the United Nations on a mission in Syria. Just like Susanna, he said he was 63 and a widower. He bombarded her with love, and their online relationship moved fast. Was she sharing this information with you about the relationship that she was having with this guy?
Yes. And she was like saying maybe he'll become your daddy, your new daddy. And it did make me feel uncomfortable, but I wanted her to be happy.
Susanna nicknamed him the Good Doctor. They spent hours texting each other, and it wasn't long, just a month, before they started saying, I love you. When Susanna came to you and said, I'm falling in love with someone I met online, what was your gut reaction?
My gut reaction was to get off the line.
Sue Ryan is Susanna's best friend.
I told her to be very careful because you can be anybody online. Like, what doctor or neurosurgeon, I would tell her, has time to be on Facebook all day if he's working? It didn't make sense. That's at her house.
But the Good Doctor seemed to always have time to text. Sue showed us pictures of an outing she had with Susanna in the summer of 2022. In almost every single photo, she's on the phone, texting.
I actually felt kind of ignored that visit.
Because he was taking up all of her time?
Yeah, she was on the phone 24/7.
With all the affluence I acquired, you are the one that brought happiness in my life. You gave me hope to never give up and be grateful all the time. I cherish you, baby. You mean so much to me.
You are sweet. I adore you.
And I told her, whatever you do, do not send him any money, no matter what the reason. You want to talk to him, you want to do this sexting, I guess it's called, with him, you have your fun, but do not send him any money.
And what did she say?
Oh, I won't.
But she did. When Susanna asked her children for a $1,500 loan, they started digging into her finances and were shocked by what they uncovered.
Several loans, credit cards, lots of transactions being taken off.
Transactions and loans that added up to more than $205,000. Every penny of it sent to the Good Doctor. That wasn't all they found. You found a marriage certificate that your mom had married this guy?
Yep.
Susanna believed she was married to Walter, a man she'd never met face to face. W5 did a reverse search on the photos of Walter Williams, and this came back, scam alerts. Her kids called the Ontario Provincial Police, who said the marriage certificate was fake and that her money was gone, probably forever. Give me a sense of what that was like for her to make the realization that not only was she out all this money, but she was also out love.
I think she felt devastated, hurt, and upset. She was taken advantage of. She was really worried how people were going to think of her, shaming her, judging her.
Susanna had been duped in a classic romance scam. Broke and brokenhearted, she moved into her daughter Angela's spare bedroom, sleeping next to a photo of her late husband. What was that like for her to move back in?
I think she was happy because she felt comfortable, to be with us, but at the same time, it's got to be humiliating and devastating.
Susanna started researching romance scams and realized her hard lessons could help others. Your mom makes a decision that she doesn't want any other woman to be scammed the way that she was scammed, and so she's going to write a book about her experience.
She was working on writing the book, and this guy, James Kaywood, helped her write it.
Who's James Kaywood? Well, he's another man Susanna was now talking to online who used this photo. He popped up right after the Good Doctor scammed her out of her life savings. Another military man, special ops, who lived in California, or so he said. She would send James what she was writing and he would give her feedback on it.
Mm-hmm. When I had asked her, what's he like? Oh, he's really nice and kind and generous. And he wants to protect me, and he wants to give me the world, and he wants to, shower me with gifts. And she was just so tickled pink on how it made her feel. And it was nice to see.
You've just watched your mom be robbed out of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and now a new person is coming into her life. Were you concerned that this new person might not be on the up and up?
Not right away, because I'm thinking, what harm could it do?
You knew that the doctor was a scam.
Yes.
Did you know that James?
Yes.
You did?
Yes, I
And
did.
did you tell her that?
I told her they were all scammers.
And what do you believe about the doctor and James?
I believe it's the same guy.
Her best friend Sue believes the same scammer who bilked Susanna out of all of her money had reappeared under the name James. But this second character wasn't asking for anything. In fact, all he was doing was offering to give.
We talked about philosophy, books, my poems. He said he wanted to build a place for homeless children. He would call me to sing to me, push me to work on my book.
This is Susanna's book called I've Been Conned, Book for Dummies. The last chapter includes a text conversation with virtual co-editor James, a man she's convinced she loves.
I love you so much, sweetheart. I love you so much with hearts.
Love has truly been good to me. Not even 1 second or minute of pain have I had since you came into my life.
And she believes him.
She believes him.
Because he's not asking for any money.
Right. Right. So he does this for a year, and then he says, you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to send you on a trip.
Sure enough, in the summer of 2022, Susanna told her daughter Angela that she was going on a trip to a place that didn't sound familiar.
She said to me she's going to Utopia. And I was like, Utopia?
The word utopia means an imaginary perfect place. But that's not where Susanna was going. On August 11th, the day before the flight, a ticket arrived.
And I'm like, that's Ethiopia.
The tickets were for Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And when you saw that,
I kind of felt panicked. And one of my first instinctual reactions is don't go.
who paid for her flights?
He did, James.
Early the next morning, Angela's mom woke her up.
She came in, gave me a kiss, and said she loved me. Sorry, that was the last time I seen her.
Coming up,
She did meet with two individuals.
a sudden trip leads to suspicious events
I was very scared, very concerned.
when W5 continues.
August 2022. Small-town widow Susanna Thayer embarked on an adventure of a lifetime. After being bilked out of hundreds of thousands of dollars by someone using this photo in a classic romance scam, a man using this photo came into Susanna's life online, showering her with love and a trip to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Her daughter Angela says it was all expenses paid.
Food, everything, because there's no transactions came out that she had paid for anything for this trip while she was in Ethiopia.
She didn't spend a penny.
No. Actually, the only thing she did spend was she had to buy herself a new pair of sandals because the one she had broke. That's the only money she really spent.
This is the hotel where Susanna stayed for 3 weeks before her life took a terrible turn. Best friend Sue Ryan spoke with Susanna every day on the phone. She went to Ethiopia under the premise that she was going to meet this man.
Yes.
Did she ever tell you if she met him?
She told me she met him. She told me she actually sent me pictures, tried to tell me she went on safari. I called her on it. I said, you didn't go on no safari. Those are magazine clippings.
These are the pictures Susanna sent her. Professional photos, clearly not taken by her. And why do you think she was lying to you?
Because she knew what my fear was.
Do you think that she realized when she was there, oh, everything Sue told me is true?
No, I don't think she believed it yet.
Do you think that your mom ever met James in Ethiopia?
No. I don't think she ever met him at all.
Trying to piece together just what happened during those 3 weeks, W5 worked with Ethiopian investigative journalist Samuel Getachew. What have you been able to uncover about where Susanna went when she landed in Addis, and how long did she stay there?
Well, she stayed in Addis Ababa for approximately 3 weeks. She stayed in an apartment-like hotel.
Samuel traveled to the hotel in an upscale part of the capital city in search of answers. Did she meet with anybody when she was there?
She did meet with 2 individuals.
Samuel spoke to hotel staff who confirmed that 2 men repeatedly visited Susanna here during that 3-week period.
I'm actually doing some video.
This is the closest we can come to identifying the 2 men. Cell phone video shot by Susanna.
So you'll be good at that, like, you need to try.
Yeah, sorry.
You can kind of see one man in the mirror. The other isn't visible at all. What were you able to decipher about who these guys might be and where they might be from?
What we know is they're not Ethiopians, but from their accent, it's a broken English that's frequented in Western Africa, to be precise, in Nigeria.
We know that Nigeria really does have a reputation for being at the forefront of romance scams.
Unfortunately, that's the reality, and we've seen too many victims.
Check.
With her mom halfway around the world, Angela started doing some digging.
She sends me a picture of this James Kaywood guy. So my son, he knows the internet a little bit better, so he ended up doing a reverse picture lookup. And it said that this James Kaywood is a scam.
That this image has been used by scammers to con women, including your mom.
And I was afraid that if I were to try to talk to her about it, her being so far away, it would be totally disconnect, not wanting, not talking to me.
For the second time, a scammer using a fake photo has tricked Susanna. The first time to rip her off of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this time to lure her halfway around the world. And so when your son told you that, what was going through your mind?
I was very scared, very concerned. But at the same time, I'm talking to her every day. Everything seemed to be fine. She is happy. She is enjoying the nice warm weather and talking to the people at the hotel. She seemed happy.
Besides, Susanna was scheduled to come home in a matter of days. And then a strange development. With her tourist visa about to expire, Susanna needed to leave Ethiopia. The mysterious boyfriend with the fake photo arranged for that to happen, but instead of a flight home to Canada, he had a different plan.
I kept asking my mom, I'm like, what's going on? And then it was, he's sending me to Hong Kong.
The solution was to send her to Hong Kong instead of sending her back to Canada?
Yeah.
Why?
She said that he was out on a mission and that's where he was going to meet her next.
When she was in the hotel in Ethiopia, I told her straight. I said, Sue, I'm going to tell you my biggest fear is that this guy's turning you into a drug runner. If he gives you anything to take with you to Hong Kong, don't take it.
And what did she say to that?
Oh, he won't do that to me. She didn't believe me.
She should have. Right before Susanna left for the airport, the 2 men she'd met in the car brought her gifts. Strange gifts.
I was actually on the phone with her maybe the day before leaving. She was given a suitcase and she was given clothing and she was like, oh my God, I got some clothing and they're really loud, but I'm gonna bring them home to you and you can pick what clothes you want out of it. She was really excited.
This is a photo Susanna took of the suitcase she was given. It was cheap and rickety. She put on one of the new dresses and wore it to the airport for her flight to Hong Kong. Your family had set up a Find My Phone.
That was myself, yeah.
So you were able to track your mom through your phone, and you watched as she went to the airport in Addis Ababa, and then she kind of disappeared off the face of the earth.
I started calling her phone at 10 o'clock and she wasn't answering. So I texted her a bunch of times, "Where are you? What's going on?" I checked the Find My Location. It showed that she was still at the Hong Kong airport. So I was checking every half hour just to, see where she was. And then Find My Location disappeared. And then I kind of started to panic.
Angela's panic instinct was bang on. How did you learn that your mom was in really big trouble at the Hong Kong airport?
It wasn't really till the next day.
And what did you learn?
That she was arrested. She was arrested for trafficking cocaine. And all she said was, "There's cocaine in a button."
In a button. This is the police photo showing 262 buttons that were on the clothes she'd been given in her new suitcase. And this is what was inside of them. Police say it's cocaine, 1 kilogram's worth, with a street value of about $150,000 Canadian.
She said to me, she goes, "I just want you to remember, I will always love you. Never forget that. And that I didn't do anything wrong."
Hong Kong drug police announced the bust publicly and released this photo. Imagine seeing your mother like this, with a hood over her head, accused of a crime that could put her behind bars for decades. Susanna was taken here to Tai Lam Center for Women, a maximum security prison just north of the airport. What do you know about what they do to people who are smuggling drugs in Hong Kong?
I've just heard that it could be lock you up and throw away the key and you might never, talk to anybody ever again.
Coming up.
If you are the victim of a scam, you're an unwitting drug mule.
Blinded by love and duped into a crime.
What do you think the odds are of ever finding the people who set up Susanna?
When W5 continues.
Angela Thayer is packing her bags at her home in Barrie, Ontario, preparing to travel halfway around the world to Hong Kong. Just weeks earlier, her mother, 64-year-old Susanna, was arrested with cocaine in the buttons of her clothing. She faces the rest of her life behind bars. When you first heard what your mom was accused of, what went through your mind?
This is a horrible nightmare. This can't be true. This is just a really, really bad dream. I'm never gonna see my mom again.
There are two reasons that people really get involved in being a mule. These are money and love.
Jason Eli is an expert on the subject. He works for the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime. He's traveled the world studying how drug syndicates work. When you look at Susanna Thayer and her profile, how does that fit in to what you know about drug mules?
Well, in a way, she's perfect, right? She's from a Western country. She's older. She's female, and she's white. So there's this belief that somebody with that type of profile would be less likely to be profiled out by police.
What can you tell us about the connection between Ethiopia and Hong Kong?
A lot more cocaine is flowing in that direction than used to flow. Hong Kong is a major airport in East Asia and a great connection point. The further you get the cocaine away from its production point in Latin America, the more you can charge for it per kilo. So Africa as a continent is a perfect transit location. It has weakly controlled borders, weakly monitored but well-structured ports. It has air connections around the world, and it has governments that I think could perhaps graciously be called accommodating, when it comes to criminal markets.
Meanwhile, Angela Thayer has just landed from a 16-hour flight from Canada. She's navigating the busy Hong Kong airport, walking the same steps that her mother took just weeks ago before being arrested for drug smuggling. Her prison visit with her mother won't happen for another 2 days. It gives Angela time to come to this seedy part of town, known for its massage parlors, sex workers, and cheap street food. Angela is here to meet this man. He is a lifeline to her mother. His name is John Wotherspoon. The 76-year-old Australian has lived here for almost 4 decades. He's an advocate for women who've been duped into being drug mules. He even investigates and collects evidence for those facing trial. But Wotherspoon isn't a detective or a lawyer. He's a Catholic priest.
Praise to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Spirit, three in one. Praise and glory forever. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
How did it get to be that you, as a priest and a prison chaplain, became this almost savior for drug mules in Hong Kong?
These people are usually vulnerable, lonely, economically in need, easily tricked sort of people, and they are targeted, unfortunately, by the big fish, as I call them, to bring drugs, and we try to help them.
In 2013, Father John launched a public awareness campaign called No More Mules, after noticing a surge of foreigners being arrested on drug smuggling charges.
And then 17 to Kuala Lumpur.
As a prison chaplain, he counseled them, but he also traveled to their home countries to spread the message across Africa, Asia, and South America. Don't bring drugs to Hong Kong. How did you first come to hear about the story of Susanna Thayer?
I first heard about Susanna because her daughter Angela contacted me. She found my name on the internet somehow, and as soon as I heard about her, my heart went out to her. I just wanted to try to help.
They've talked on the phone, but this is the first time Angela and Father John are meeting in person.
Angela.
Hi.
Welcome to Hong Kong.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Really nice to meet you.
Good you could come. Really good you could come.
I'm really glad to be here.
You look like your mum.
Thank you.
This is our little centre just here.
Yes.
Angela, come on. Welcome to the Dr. Jesus Centre. This is Jane, you know, from telephone calls.
Finally! I've been expecting you. Welcome to Hong Kong.
Jane's a social worker, especially looking after prisoners, and she's visited your mum already, and we're very happy to be able to help you in your time here in Hong Kong.
And I actually really appreciate, more than words can say, on how you guys are helping my mother going to visit her when I'm not able to.
The time I saw her, she was relaxed and more calm.
Yeah.
And I got her M&M chocolates.
She loves chocolates.
And yeah, she told me, oh, I love M&M. So I think that cheered her up a bit.
She said she felt like Job in the Bible. Job was a good person, but then suddenly lost everything. And she felt like that. So I said to her, yeah, but remember, Job had a happy ending, had 10 more children. You've got 10 more kids on the way. She was smiling a bit at the end.
Susanna has just been moved to a medium security prison called Lo Wu. Conditions are considered good by international standards, but still Susanna does not understand Cantonese and is one of just a handful of Western women. It's the day Angela has been waiting for. She's finally going to visit her mother. We're about 15 minutes away from the prison. How are you feeling?
Mixed of emotions. I feel like I want to cry because it's also exciting. I have no idea when I'll see her again after it. When I leave this week, at the end of this week, I get to go home, and she won't be able to.
Okay, good luck. Okay.
Thank you.
Prison rules are strict. Visitors are only allowed for 15 minutes a day. Even for family members like Angela, who's traveled 13,000 kilometers to see her mom. 15 minutes goes awfully fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're there talking, and next thing it's, 9 minutes. Next thing it's, a minute and, 52 seconds. And next thing the buzzer's going off, all the other women are going back in, and my mom and I sat there for a few more seconds. Then we had to get up and leave.
And what was the first thing that she said to you?
I love you, and I'm sorry. I bawled, I cried, I couldn't stop crying. I just wanted to hug her. It hurt to see her on that side, and there wasn't anything that I could do.
Father John Wotherspoon is a bit of a celebrity in Hong Kong.
Thank you.
He counsels sex workers, hosts dinners for people with addictions.
We're on the second floor here.
Okay. And his charity, called Mercy Hong Kong, even provides shelter. So these are women who all lost their job because of COVID.
Most of them, yes. Good morning, anybody home?
Including these foreign domestic workers who were left jobless when COVID hit.
What's your story, quickly? Why are you here?
I'm terminated.
Why were you terminated?
No reason.
Just thrown out?
Yes, just on the spot.
But Father John, who calls this tiny apartment home, has also become an advocate and an investigator for those accused of being drug mules. Now he's taken on the case of a grandmother from Barrie, Ontario, Susanna Thayer, who he believes was duped into bringing a kilo of cocaine into Hong Kong. You're doing all the work that you do as a priest, but you're also kind of an investigator, a detective. Well, come on.
It's not my job. I'm supposed to be just giving out Bibles in prison, but if I can do something to help.
Well, is it just a feeling that you're having to fill this void because no one's doing it?
Well, this is it. No one else is doing it. It's a job that governments should do, but it's very complicated, a bit dangerous.
In just a few weeks, he will travel to 8 countries over 2 months to personally try to prevent drug mules from coming. I'm looking at all these little stickers on your map, and it's painting a pretty big picture you've got ahead.
Yes, since 2015, I've used my annual holiday to go to other countries, to visit families of people in prison, to help stop drug mules coming to Hong Kong, to meet with authorities there, and it's been very blessed.
One of the countries Father John will visit is Ethiopia. His plan is to try to investigate who gave Susanna that suitcase filled with drug-stuffed buttons. What do you think the odds are of ever finding the people who set up Susanna?
Good question. Maybe not big odds, but there's a lot of leads.
If those leads can prove that Susanna Thayer didn't know she was smuggling drugs, Hong Kong lawyer Michael Arthur says that could be enough to get her case dropped. What sorts of arguments do you have to make to the courts here to say that this woman should be shown some leniency because she didn't know?
The prosecution must prove knowledge All right? If you don't know that you've got the drugs, then you can't be knowingly in possession. If you are the victim of a scam, then you don't know. You're an unwitting drug mule.
Originally from New Zealand, Arthur has worked in Hong Kong for more than 30 years as both a prosecutor and a defense lawyer. He has personally defended more than a dozen cases similar to Susanna's. He says in each of his cases, the accused was acquitted, but there were hurdles.
The most difficult thing is persuading the court to allow evidence that these scams go on. Not simply that she was the victim of a scam.
Are you saying that the courts here are not sort of open to accepting evidence that shows that these scammers are legitimate crime syndicates?
They were very resistant to that.
That's why Michael Arthur says it's so important to present evidence that proves Susanna was an unwitting victim. Any correspondence she had with the scammers, the gifts she received from the scammers. And if she can't prove her innocence, what's she looking at for time?
Well, she's looking at serious jail time. I've got a case, nearly 3 kilograms of ketamine, and that's going to attract a sentence in the region of 23 years. So for some of these people with these big sentences, if you're a 70-year-old person and you get a sentence like that, then it's a death sentence, isn't it?
Coming up.
I feel lost and it's just devastating.
Facing a bleak life behind bars.
It would be a life if I'm convicted.
When W5 continues.
Angela Thayer has flown from Canada to Hong Kong to see her mother in prison. Today will be her second 15-minute visit. On the drive to Lo Wu Prison, Angela gets a phone call.
So basically, I can't see my mom the rest of the week. At least 7 days, and I leave Friday, so I can't see her. All right, thank you. Bye.
What happened?
COVID.
What?
Someone has COVID in the prison. My mom was close contact, so now she's in quarantine. So it means I can't see her the rest of this week.
I mean, you've traveled so far for 15 minutes.
If I can't see her, I just want to go home. I feel lost, and it just feels like everything's just a big barrier to see my mom. It's just devastating. Because it hurts so much, I just want to go home to my family, and I just want to hold them, because I can't hold my mom.
Angela makes the long plane trip back to Canada. She flew 13,000 kilometers for 15 minutes with her mother. And now the only way she can stay in touch is through letters. Susanna writes daily.
The pain in here is so real. I don't know how one could hurt as much as I am right now, being innocent, in jail. Why would someone do this to me?
She describes her cell, shared with 15 other women, tells her family how much she misses them, and begs them to forgive her.
I hope you can forgive me for being so foolish.
Susanna gets one 10-minute phone call a month. Angela recorded this call she and her brother received just before Christmas.
I just love you guys.
I love you too.
I'm missing you guys so much. It's unbelievable.
You don't know how much I miss you.
I just want you to know that I love you so much, Mom.
I love every single one of my family.
And I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all of you guys, okay? And Happy New Year. I want you guys to know that I am completely done with internet dating. This is a rude awakening. I've only got 1 minute left.
I love you,
But
Mom.
I want you to know that I love you all with my heart and soul, okay?
So we'll be going to the hotel where Susanna was staying.
Catholic priest John Wotherspoon has arrived in Ethiopia, and he's teamed up with investigative journalist Samuel Getachew.
How long do they keep the CCTV?
They told me they keep it for about a year.
The duo is on the hunt for proof that Susanna was tricked into smuggling drugs into Hong Kong. The key evidence they need is surveillance video at the hotel where Susanna stayed.
Can you remember her?
Yes.
What can you remember about her?
She will be customer.
Father John finds a camera-shy waiter in the hotel's lobby who remembers seeing Susanna for the 3 weeks she was there.
Canada. She's
yes.
a writer.
She's a writer,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Then Father John tracks down a manager.
If we could get the CCTV.
That surveillance video could identify just who delivered the drug-filled suitcase and clothing.
If you're agreeable, maybe we don't need the police permission. If you're agreeable to help us.
No,
She said it's a must. Sure.
The manager refused to hand over the video. Father John even went to the local police station to try to get help, but it was futile. And so he left Ethiopia empty-handed. W5 picked up his fight for the surveillance video. After 4 months of emails to police, consular officials in Canada and Ethiopia, even a local lawyer, a breakthrough. Police finally agreed to help get the video. They even went to the hotel with a letter from the police commissioner. But it was too late. The hotel manager claims that vital piece of evidence was deleted 3 weeks earlier.
Hi, Mom. Hello?
Hi.
Back in Canada, Angela is on the phone with her mom. Both know it could be years before Susanna's case even gets to trial.
I love you, Mommy. I just want you to know that I love you and I miss you so much.
With just 10 minutes to speak each month, connection issues can be frustrating.
Mom? Hello, Mama? I can't hear you.
In the prison telephone room, there's a clock that lets Susanna know when time is running out.
It'll lose you in about a minute. I don't really want you guys to know what it's really like.
I have an idea what it's like.
It would be like if I'm convicted and not being able to see my family again. Hurts the most. It's very hard. And I love everybody. I even love those who have me.
I know, Mom.
Yeah, I've got 27 seconds left. But stay healthy, stay strong, okay?
And same with you, Mom.
I'm gonna lose you. I love you.
I love
okay?
you. I love you too, Mom. I love you. I love you. Stay on the line and say you love me until you have to go. Love you. I just lost her.
W5 has done a number of investigations into romance scams. To watch them, go to our website, w5.ctvnews.ca.